Hi everybody. I'm feeling really crappy right now, so I'm just gonna do my reading a little bit off screen because it kind of looks like an animal attacked my face. So it's a kindness, trust me. I know I've been sick for like a week, so I'm gonna do a reading on the health situation going on in America using, what should I use? Past, present, and future? Past, present, future. All right. What card should I use? True emotional. We're going to talk about the health of America in relation to, okay. So this is a collective, what's going on health-wise. Oops. Because, you know, the government's not telling everybody what's going on. Especially when you got a certain person who doesn't belong. And actually, there's several people in the Trump administration who don't deserve to be in their positions. But they're there because of who they are and because they kiss ass. So, let me see, pass. Legal matters. We're already starting off with a bang. Present. Oh. Oh, people don't feel good health-wise. Future. Side hustle in the reverse. We're going to clarify each of these cards. I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible. But, you know, I love to clarify and get the full story. So sometimes I could be here for a while. What should I use? What deck should I use to clarify legal matters? True emotional. We're going to use the same deck. What is legal matters? What's legal matters? There are lies circulating about what's going on medically and health-wise across America. Sweet talk in the reverse. Illumination in the reverse. The truth is being hidden. Oh. Is causing a cycle to continue circulating. Okay, so my career is in healthcare, but on the data side, this can cause something to go round and round because in the healthcare sphere, it's really helpful to have public information coming from the government because different groups, corporations, universities, they come up with their own hypotheses about what's going on collectively when it comes to medical problems. And if the health advisory and like the notifications and all the stuff, and you remember the CDC has pretty much turned off their data, their mortality data. It doesn't go past 2022 or something like that. And so there's like a blindness going on in the medical field, and because there's this blindness and this hiding of information, medical professionals, scientists, you know, people who are not trained in the healthcare industry, they think it's just doctors. It's not doctors. There's scientists, there's data, there's programmers, there's a whole group of people, okay, working together to keep the public healthy. And if they're not getting the data, they're not getting the information, then the scientists can't create their models and come with conclusions. And those written white papers can't get to the doctors or other medical professionals who can look at it and you know, to see the effectiveness or see it in their own practice. And so there's a huge disconnect. And it's causing a cycle to continue. Is this in relation to COVID? It has something of COVID. Is there something else? There's other things. It's not just COVID. There's something affecting the children. This might be curable illnesses that were almost deemed destroyed, completely gone with the invention of vaccinations, like to help things like measles. But there's a lot of anti-intellectualism in the United States, and so people think that vaccines can give you autism. I just want to let people know I'm autistic. In order to be autistic, you have to be born that way. Autism is a difference in the brain. So when you are autistic, if you do a brain scan of someone who has autism, someone who doesn't, the brain is completely different, okay? So I'm trying to say this because it doesn't make sense to say that a vaccine caused autism. You cannot catch autism. You are born that way. It's because your brain is different. That's what autism is. Now, if your child has suffered some type of vaccine-related complication, that means that they are suffering from a complication from a vaccination, and it might be introducing symptoms that might look like autism. But since autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder, which forms when the child is still a fetus in the mother's body, you cannot get it from a vaccination. If you could have a complication related to a vaccine, this can be for many different reasons. The child could have developed meningitis, which causes brain swelling. Okay, and when there's brain swelling, when the brain cells are when you have problems with brain cells, they don't rejuvenate. Once a brain cell is fucked up, it's gonna be messed up. And the problem is, a lot of people with low functioning autism or even high functioning like myself, a lot of us have epilepsy. And this is because there is some type of it's related to a gene mutation, because autism is caused by a gene mutation. There's multiple genes there. So autism is caused by multiple genes being mutated. Okay? What the hell does the vaccine gotta do with a hereditary illness that is probably rooted to the X chromosome? Okay, it has nothing to, so I just want to clarify. So when you have brain swelling, a lot of people with autism, especially lower on the spectrum, a lot of them have problems with brain swelling, okay? It's not because the brain swelling is being caused by the autism. It's because those people with that specific, I guess, form of autism, a lot of them have similar gene mutations, which are causing brain swelling, which causes loss of brain functioning, and therefore they need more care. Okay, that's what we're seeing with people with different forms of autism. And so if you get a vaccine and it causes you to have a fever, people, I'm trying to explain why some people don't understand science. If you get a vaccine and it's causing you to have a fever, then you might have problems with brain swelling. Okay, and the brain swelling kills some of the brain cells, and if it kills the wrong ones, the child might start behaving like they have autism. So RFK Jr. and the other weird people who don't understand what autism is, I'm trying to explain to you why it doesn't cause autism. What you're seeing is probably a form of meningitis or brain swelling from a fever that happened because of the vaccine, and the body rejected the vaccine, maybe because of an allergy. That's what happened. Is what I'm saying true? That's what happened. And there could be another bunch of reasons, but we need to make it clear. You have to be born this way. You don't catch it. And so there's a bunch of kids who are getting sick with measles and whooping cough and other things that if they had the vaccination for it, they would probably be fine right now. And it's killing herd immunity. And another thing, there's a lot of moms probably don't want to take their kids to the doctor. They might be like subscribed to Crunchy Moms. You know the type. They think all they got to do to cure their child is with some elderberry syrup. Their little concoction that they made in their little kitchen because they saw it on Pinterest. And they believe they know better than the doctor. You know, the doctor's been in medical school for years. And the doctor says, I think our tests are showing your child might have measles. And the parent's like, no. And I'm pretty sure, are their rates of measles higher than what's being reported? So it's actually higher than what's being reported right now. Is it because people are not taking their kids to the doctor? People are not taking their kids to the doctor. So there's a bunch of people, and school's about to start, right? It's like, I think for some kids across the country, some kids start school in September. I think Monday is the first day of school for a lot of children, or Tuesday. I just want some people to know your kid might get sick because people don't want to listen to the scientists or the doctors. These are moms who are insecure. And I guess they're participating in wishful thinking, and they believe in naturalism. I don't know what it's called. It's like a fallacy where you think that everything that's natural must be good. And listen, poison ivy is natural and it can kill you. What else is, wolf's bane is a plant. And if you digested that stuff, it would kill you. So there's a lot of things in nature that can kill you. Just because it's natural doesn't mean it's healthy for you. And just because it's man-made, and by man-made, that means they took different chemical compositions from whether it's fauna or flora, who knows, and they combined it or whatever, and they were able to create a medicine to help people. Just because someone did something like that, that doesn't mean that it's not good for you. That's like thinking, I'm going to tell you, this is the way of thinking is. It's like thinking, just because you took a pot and you made a stew, you added your beef, your potatoes, your peas, your carrots, or whatever, your spices, that the food isn't good because you combined it in a pot. That's the same way of thinking when it comes to medicine and people thinking all you got to do is just, it doesn't make sense, right? You're more likely to be full and get all the calories that you need. So, some people say that it might not get all the nutrients from raw to cooked, but you're more likely to be full long term if you eat like a food in a batch, a meal. And then there's some other weird people who are into keto who think it's bad to eat carbs. It's not bad to eat carbs. Your brain uses the carbs for energy. Your brain needs carbs for energy. And so it is useful to eat things like rice and potatoes because your brain is more likely to use that as energy throughout the day without you being tired all the time. And what happens if you don't eat enough carbs? Your body goes into ketosis or something, right? It's a sign that there's something wrong in your body. And this is a diet people do. Listen, it's unhealthy. And so these people, the mother's like, I know what's best for my daughter. I read it on Pinterest. There's a TikTok mom that I follow, and she was able to cure her child with strawberry syrup and some pink Himalayan salt. And she just used some fairy dust over the child, and the child was magically healthy again. Wow. Thank you, Jessica. You don't know what you're talking about. And I can totally prove the vaccines do cause autism because my cousin, he used to be a little weird, but he got even more weirder after he got the vaccinations and blah, 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 blah. So these moms are doom scrolling. They're not even parenting their children, which is weird. They like live in a fantasy world where they're the perfect mom, but they don't pay attention to their child. It's absolutely bizarre. I'm a good mom. How dare you? I feed my children granola. My child does not eat sugar. They have like a hatred of modern tech and medicine, even though they're on their phones on TikTok. They hate like the modern. They say they hate what's it called, modernity, but they love TikTok, Instagram, social media. It doesn't make sense. Oh, and they said they hate modern, like the modern world is destroying everything. And some of these moms are vegans. By the way, vegan is extremely harmful, and being vegetarian is harmful to the human body. Okay? Do you guys know how it's harmful? Because you need to take supplements. If you need to take a supplement just to get beyond, support your lifestyle, that means it's not a natural diet for the human body to be on. These are like martyrs. I'm a good mom. I would never, Bible, never. My children eat the most healthiest. We pick this stuff at the farm. Oops, hold on. I'm about to throw my cat out the window. So this is introduce a firestorm because now there's a lot of affected children running around, and school's gonna start on Monday or Tuesday. And I'm guessing some of these kids are probably malnourished too, because their mom has them on a vegan or vegetarian diet, so the kids are not getting the proper nutrition. It's not healthy to put a child on a vegan or vegetarian diet. So the kids are sickly. So they're sickly, they're not getting the right nutrients, and so they're more likely to get sick because their immune system is compromised. Yoshi. My cat is so weird. She stands up on the second floor and then she like jumps off onto the stairs. I just, as soon as I get on, she starts acting crazy. Oh, and then they like to police how other people are taking care of their kids. They're like, oh my God, you gave that to your child? I would never. We haven't given any of our children, Riley and Ashton, we haven't given any of them those vaccines, and they've been super healthy. Oh, and they're not going to stop. And I guess some of their kids are sick, and they've been like lurking on social media looking for natural remedies for their kids' illnesses. This is crazy. This is a legal problem, okay? This affects public health and public safety, because if there are kids walking around with measles, they can get people who already, say like adults or elders eating other children who already have chronic illnesses, or maybe they have cancer and their immune system's not doing very well. These irresponsible, selfish mothers are putting the lives of other people at risk, and they just don't care because they're doing it for the gram, okay? And they're doing it for attention. And then they get online. They're so proud of themselves. Look at us. I made this beautiful concoction and it's working so well. This is weird. These people are so strange. And they don't feel pressure. I guess because they're like in an echo chamber. They're in these online communities where everybody's supporting each other in these really bad decisions. Yeah, they're in communities where they're accepted. They're allowed to do this bullshit. They're being toxic. Not because they're drinking or like doing drugs. They're being toxic because they're not paying attention to their children who are ill, and they want more. They want clout. for being a naturalist mom for their online friends. And most of these ladies are married. Or they're in a long-term relationship, probably. What's feeling like shit? This is for the present. You know, it'll be really sad if it's the children who are the ones suffering here. Funeral. They're not coping well because their kids are not getting better. So this is what's going on right now. They're not coping very well because their kids are not getting better. I have an idea. Why don't you give them the standard of care? They don't want to listen to what's the truth is. I don't know why. Because I don't know why they don't want to. It doesn't make sense. So their kid's not getting well. They're not coping with it well. And instead of just doing the standard of care, listening to the doctor, they're like, no. What is the thought? Is the thought that if they gave in to the doctor, that means that they were wrong? And I guess some of the thing, because they're their mom, they know what's best, and it'll be embarrassing to them if they admit they were wrong about what's wrong with their child. Oh my God. Oh, yep, she's doing it for shady reasons. Mommy's being a narcissist. Look at this. And then she has this love-hate cycle with her husband, who's probably doom scrolling on OnlyFans. She knows that's what he's doing. So now the whole drama with the kid, she's not even paying attention to the child because she's obsessing over what the husband's doing. Oh my God, is he looking at her again? Ay. Oh, so then she started tracking the husband. I don't know, maybe she put a tracker app on his phone. What is this? She's tracking the jackass. Oh no, what is this? I thought this was about your sick children. I guess in order to, you know, cope with it, you gotta make your husband the villain, even though he is cheating on you. She's not even shocked because she's put something on his phone and she's been tracking him and knows he's cheating on her or looking at thirst traps. Oh my God, why? Why is this relevant? Oh, I know why. Because then she could blame him for why the kid is sick. It's all your fault. She's blaming him. You brought it in here because of what you've been doing. She's just not even looking at the signs that she needs to just do the standard of care. She wants to just blame her husband. He's the bad guy, not her. They're unhappily married. Hold on, my cat wants to go outside. Alrighty. Ooh. So ridiculous. So she feels trapped because the economy is doing bad and they rely on both of their salaries. What happened to the kid? Did the kid just like merge in with the background like they're not there? Okay, I guess so. She doesn't want to learn the lesson. Take the kid and go live with your parents. This is all of this is happening all across the country right now. And then he's now apparently selling drugs. I don't know what's going on. What an escalation. He went from hanging out with OnlyFans, his favorite person, maybe he paid extra to, I don't know, do something with her. And now he's like, maybe he was laid off from Microsoft. And now he's like selling marijuana on the side to support his lifestyle. What? Or like maybe pills, maybe Xanax or Adderall or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Now he's selling drugs. Crunchy Mom's husband lost his job and now he's selling drugs, everybody. And she's stalking him because she, you know, it's all about her ego. Yeah, it's all about her ego. Wow. And this goes on and 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 on. This is happening to at least like 40% of adult females in America right now. Now, there's a different variation of it. Apparently, sometimes they're married, sometimes they're single, sometimes the male is like a buddy. But there's some variation of the story happening all across America. And apparently it's happening to 40% of adult females in America. And sometimes the other person can be a female partner. It could change. So this is happening to a lot of people of various ages and different races. It's just it seems to be happening everywhere. And it's really strange. Yeah, it's happening a lot to married couples. These husbands are all up on OnlyFans, the hub. I don't know what they're doing. They have a sex addiction and they're ignoring their family. They're misaligned. And he's rejecting the wife or the main woman. He's been rejecting her. He's busy with the woman he's having. So there's like 40% of women in the United States have a partner who's involved in a third party. That's a lot. That's a lot of cheating. Now, whether listen, the third party could be emotional cheating or physical, different variations, but it's some type of cheating. And he doesn't care. Yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Listen, like, and she's trying to like talk him like, what are you doing? What about the family? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. And so she starts praying, God, why me? Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, her kid's sick. Meanwhile, the kid is still sick. While all this drama, he either loses his job or the female is the one who's supporting the family financially. There's something weird going on with the finances, or he's putting the family deeper into debt because he's using credit cards or whatever on these chicks. It could be a different variation, like whatever's going on. The male or the partner is doing something with the finances, which is negatively impacting the family. And so she thinks he's backstab her. Listen, I pulled cards on this before. I'm just gonna tell you, I've been pulling cards on this for about like a month now, and like the same story's popping up, so I might as well tell you guys. So this is what happens, okay? This is what happens. For what I remember. Listen, he starts selling drugs or whatever, and he's having affairs, and he catches COVID or some other viral virus, and he brings it home to the house, and that is actually how the child got sick the first time. The mother ends up catching it, but she ends up fine. Later down the road, either the child gets extremely sick or the child passes away. Okay, And so the mom is overwhelmed, and she decides that she's going to take off and go live with her parents for a while, taking the remaining children, or she doesn't have any children, she just goes by herself. If but this happens after the wife or the partner, the main character, who's, let's call her wife number one. Let's call her Brittany. Brittany is a common name that most people have, okay? There's black, Asian, white Brittany's. Brittany decides to have an affair with her coworker, right? Oh, and during all of this, her and her friends are like trolling like OnlyFans models, watching like rage bait videos about how OnlyFans models are disgusting on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, because, you know, they're angry at them for stealing their man. And so then she has an affair with her coworker. I think this might be even before or after the child dies, I'm not sure. And she's there as a sympathy, and they start going to hotels. But the man, let's call him John. He's also married too. And so, remember, Brittany's sick, and so she passes the virus to him, and he brings it home, and his kids get sick. Okay. Is this what's going on right now? This is what's going on right now. It's so insane. And so then his wife finds out that he's cheating. All right, there's some variation of this. Maybe it's his girlfriend, doesn't matter, his baby mama, whatever. There's different variations of this. Sometimes it's a wife, sometimes it's a baby mama. It's just someone he has a relationship with, finds out, and he decides, she has a mental breakdown, and she tells him to stop hanging out with Brittany. Let's call the second woman, Andrea. So Andrea says to John, stop hanging out with Brittany. She's a whore, blah, blah, blah. And John doesn't want to mess up what's going on at home. So he's like, all right. And so while this is going on, Brittany's husband, let's call him Tom, is still out hanging out with hookers or whatever. And she decides that she's going to go stay with her family. And so she goes to her grandparents' house, and her whole family's being nosy. So they all come to see her, but they all get sick too. They get the virus too. Okay. And she gets grandma and grandpa sick, and, you know, she doesn't really tell them what happened with her at work. And then she finally tells her mom what happened with the affair. And this is where it gets crazier. Apparently, when I pull cards on this story, while Brittany is at her mom's or dad's house, Tom dies. Tom dies from like COVID or something, right? It's weird. And then okay, remember, like, she might have lost her job. There's different variations. Sometimes she keeps her job, sometimes she loses it because of the drama at work, having an affair with a coworker because his baby mama or his wife or whoever showed up at work to start problems. And so she gets a life insurance payout from her Tom dying. And then she goes back home and she tries to start over again. And she tries to do dating, and it doesn't work. She runs into a new guy. This is the weirdest part about this. I pulled so many cards, and I was complete disbelief that this is actually happening all across the country. And so after she gets some payout, right, some new guy comes in. I guess sometimes Tom doesn't die. He always dies. Tom always dies, by the way. And so then she starts dating some new guy who just wants to leech off of her. He ends up staying in her house, and he won't leave. She's able to eventually get him to leave, right? And then she decides she's going to have a glow up. And so she tries to get the attention of John again. And Andrea finds out, and she kicks John out of her house. And this is where it gets weird. John moves in, he stays with Brittany, but while he's staying with Brittany, he dies. He dies. Okay, and so it's just all this nonsense is going on. And then there's like, I don't know, a viral outbreak going on. People are getting really sick. I don't know what kind of virus, It might be COVID, or it might be a combination of some new stuff going on. So, and then like people are gossiping about her, but the community's sick because so many people are catching it too. People are gossiping online, and it's just like at that point it's too late because it's spread all over the community, and eventually Brittany dies in her house. That's what ends up happening to the crunchy mom. It's the weirdest thing. So I went ahead and said all of that so we can skip that long storyline. Karma, firestorm. And this all happened because some idiotic mom didn't want to listen to the doctor. And when the doctor's like, listen, you just got to make sure you follow the standard of care. Like, whatever happened to the kid in the story? People are going to be losing sleep. And this is what happens when all the health warnings about what's been going on gets turned off. So from what I understand, the way we're seeing it is that people are like slowly dying off, but they're not going to the hospital. They're like dying, but they're not going to the hospital. Right now, a lot of the deaths are like prostitutes or sex workers, and they don't have medical insurance. And so they're like dying in their homes or something. And I don't know what they're doing with their bodies or something. I don't know if they're like reporting them dead, or these prostitutes or sex workers are just dying and no one's reporting it. Because I'm thinking a lot of these sex workers might be undocumented workers. And so they're passing away, and it's being spread through the sex and drug trafficking ring. And so the father, Tom, who got involved in drug trafficking, he gets it from the sex workers. And so this is apparently what's going on. This is bad news. This is what's going on right now. What's the percentage of this going on in the adult population right now? Like with the Tom thing and John, let's see, is it more than 10? More than 20? Oh, is this scary? Is it more than 30? Okay, so it's quite a lot of people. Everyone is in a different stage of the story. So the story is not happening all at once for not everyone's at the same part of the story. People are at different stages. Apparently 30% of people are Andrea. And 30% of adult females is what I meant, are Andrea. And 40% are Brittany. So that's like 70% of the female adult population. So I don't know what the other 30% are up to. I'm guessing some of them might be single. But some of these involved in this can be single too, but they're just like sleeping around, or they're just dating around. So I don't know. They could be older people, but this could be happening to someone's old grandma. So people need to start asking themselves, are the sex workers like disappearing, everybody? Have people been seeing less of them online lately? It might be because the sex workers are dying. And the problem is the deaths are not being reported, and they're not going to the doctors because they don't have health insurance. A lot of them are undocumented workers, and so they're dying in these homes in their beds probably. And who knows what happens to their bodies? I don't know. I really don't know what could be happening. I don't know how this works. I don't work in law enforcement. I don't know what they're doing to these sex workers' bodies after they're passing away from this virus. But everyone should be very concerned. If you're seeing less sex workers around, this is not good. They're usually the sex workers are the first sign that there's some serious health problem going on. Okay, side hustle in the reverse or future. Use true emotional again. What's the future for the health? So if you feel like you might be Brittany or Andrea, this is a chance. You can try to maybe get help and see what's going on, and maybe make sure if you have children, make sure they're getting their medical attention. Like, you don't have to be this group. You can be part of the other 30%, but I don't know if the other 30% are in a good state. Look, they're not even thinking about it. What is this? Under pressure in the reverse. And someone's not interested in this love-hate cycle. You don't feel any pressure. Oh, the mainstream, what's going on right now, and the main people who are not involved in this, like, scenario, they don't really care about it, and they're not paying attention. But the problem is that these people are spreading the illness. Yo, shit, you just went out. Hold on. They don't care. Hold on, let me let her back in. She's so annoying. She just ran away when I opened the window. She's like, psych! She's so rude to me. They haven't even noticed that there's less people around. These people, there's some people living their lives and they haven't noticed this at all. They don't care about other people. They just don't care. They don't care what's going on with other people. They don't care about the sex workers. They don't care about blah, blah, blah. You know, they're focusing on their own problems. They're focusing on themselves. But it's going to create a problem. Because the illness doesn't care if you don't think it's your problem. It's still these are illnesses that are contagious, going all over the community. It doesn't matter. And it started with patient 0, who are the sex workers. It's not a sexually transmitted disease. It's something like, it's like COVID, or it is COVID. The problem is, if they're sex workers, that means it's had time to mutate quite a bit, especially if they're coming across a lot of different people, you know, because the lifestyle they're living, they've had, it's had a chance to mutate. People are first going to be happy that, I guess, sex workers are dying. Like, oh, who cares about them? Blah, blah, blah. Not seeing what the problem might be. Because some of them are tired of their men going to them or looking at them on, like, social media. So them disappearing off of social media is like, oh my God, finally. But they didn't learn their lesson. They're not understanding what's going on. This is going to happen in the future, okay? People are doing it because of their ego. People are like this because of their ego. And they're fed up with sex workers. But they don't really understand. They're all in a trap, because the same illness that affected them is affecting or will affect them too. And a lot of them are starting to lose sleep because they can't sleep at night because they feel sick. They're not paying. Some of the signs might be similar to COVID, but they're not paying attention. You know what the best thing to do to see how people are doing is to see how the cold and flu medicines are doing at like the store. But since COVID's been going on for a couple of years, they might be overstocking it. So I guess maybe not. These might be people who are single. They don't understand they're not seeing what's really going on. My cat just banged on the window and ran away. Some of them could still be dating. So they think it doesn't apply to them, but you know, if you sleep with someone, you're probably gonna catch it because you're just being close to them. You know, it's not because it's sexually transmitted. It's because you're in close quarters with somebody. Oops. Yeah, these are people who are these people might be single, or they're not like attached to anybody long term. Side hustle in the reverse. These are people who are just focusing on themselves, but look, they're gonna get sick. These people are like, oh, I'm all about sex, self-love. They don't have to worry about where someone else is or something. This is strange. Who knows how soon in the future this is happening, huh? They're not healing though, because they don't know they're sick. So a lot of these people are already sick already. They just don't know about it yet. I don't know, huh? Some of them are not focusing on romance, or focusing on their job or some other things. I guess, like, you know, I've been sick, but I don't know, do I have COVID? Oh, what the fuck? Oh my God, what the fuck? I now have COVID? Oh, is that why my cold? How did I get COVID? Oh my gosh, that doesn't make any sense. I know I've been sick with a cold for the past couple days. I've been wondering why I haven't been getting better, and now I have COVID. Okay, whatever. Which one do I have? Is it Stratus? I have that one? Really? Oh. Oh, is that why I can't taste anything? Oh my God. What a revelation. The biggest revelation is my own illness. I'm sick too. Oh man, yeah, like even you could get it from your friends. I don't know who the fuck I got it from. I don't know who I got it from. Yeah, you could get it from like I guess, you know what? You could probably get it from food delivery. Say like your DoorDasher like sneezed on their hand, and like they like put their hand on the bag, and you picked up the bag, and you like maybe touched your face or something. Oh, but real nice, Yoshi. I knew that something was off about it. Woo. And it's spreading to their family members or their friends. And people are gonna start getting shocked. And you know what? I thought the Stratus strand was supposed to give me like horrible throat pain, and you know, I don't have any throat pain, so I'm actually shocked I have Stratus COVID right now. So everybody, I have COVID. They call me the COVID babe. I don't even know how many times I've had COVID. How many times? Let's see, how many times have I had COVID? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've had COVID 5 times. What the fuck? You know what? I feel like we should throw a COVID award ceremony, and we should give someone an award for how many times they've been infected with a COVID. Here you go, girl. It is funny because I actually got the vaccinations. Hey, little girl. And I get on stage while coughing. Sorry, I almost passed up. Climb up here. I want to thank all my friends and family for making this possible. I want to thank the DoorDasher who like sneezed on my food and the delivery person. And I also want to thank the stock person at the produce stand who like infected the fruit and all. I thank you so much for this opportunity. Okay, so anyways, that's my reading.